under his feet.
Hey, hey, hey. Thank you so much for being back here. Every time I say that, I feel like I'm being blessed because how many people the sound of my voice, how in fact you got involved in Rhode Island housing, and just a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Well, I was always good with numbers, and always been interested when I got out of college. I wanted to help folks, right?
Sure.
And so I bounced around a little bit to different mortgage companies and banks and things of that sort, got into mortgages. I'm a mortgage underwriter.
Yep.
And when the opportunity came up to work for Rhode Island Housing, I jumped at that because they have a great mission.
Okay.
And so I could put my skills to use and help people at the same time. Great place to work, wonderful organization, great people. So I consider myself, as you often say, blessed as well, to have
truly am.
a job that is also a career while I can earn a living and help people at the same time.
That is a beautiful thing. Now, are you a Rhode Island native?
I am, born and raised.
Yeah?
Yes.
Warwick or Providence?
Raised and went to school in Cranston, graduated
Okay.
from Cranston East. Went to Rhode Island College also, and now I live in Warwick.
What was your major there, Larry?
I majored in marketing.
Marketing.
Yes.
Okay.
Not exactly the path I have chosen in life.
Yeah, but Larry,
marketing's
you've
tough to get
you've
into.
settled well, weed hopper.
I have done fine, yes.
Yes,
I
you
cannot
have.
complain. So marketing's tough to break into unless you're in a big city.
Is that
New
right?
York, California, things
Larry,
like
you
that.
know,
so.
you know, I like you. You only have one problem, Larry. You're a Pittsburgh Steelers fan.
I am. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll keep cultivating that.
We'll keep our eyes open
as
on
we
that.
going. But Larry, you know, here we are in this day and time. We got Russia acting crazy. We got gas prices going up. But yet and still, you're here to let people know that they can still achieve the American dream. And Rhode Island Housing, segue,
Yes.
is someone who's actually trying to make that become a reality. So why don't we start with your mission statement?
Well, Rhode Island Housing has been in business. Let me back up a minute. The Rhode Island Housing is a state housing agency.
Okay.
So we're a quasi-public agency. We're regulated by the state
Are
of
you
Rhode Island.
federally funded?
We are not funded by the state or the federal government. My salary does not come from the state or the government.
Okay.
However, we're regulated by the state. If we make any changes in our programs,
Yeah.
we have to go in front of the board and get that approved. So we have an executive director, and then there's a board of trustees, I suppose you can call them,
Okay.
who are nominated or designated by the governor. So we are a quasi-state agency, but we're not paid by the state. We're just regulated by the state.
Tell me about James McDonald, 1939. Was that somebody that I read about when they were with PHA? That was public housing education.
Yeah, that was before my time. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know that
I
story.
was reading, because you know, I always try to pride myself on knowing a little bit about my
Sure.
guests so I don't look like a, ladies and gentlemen, complete idiot.
Yes. No, that
Speak
was
about
before
not
my
looking
time.
like, go ahead.
1939 was way before my time, so I don't have an answer for that story,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah, I got an answer for this. You're watching PEG RITV, the Ernest Faison Show. So glad that you're here. I got my buddy, Mr. Larry Feldman on. He represents Rhode Island Housing. He's going to give you some very important bullet points, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are first-time buyers who aspire to buy a house. Mr. Feldman is going to really let you in on actually what's going on. So you've told me about the mission statement. So I wrote down a couple things. The importance of checking your credit. as we get into the bullet points.
Yes. Okay. So I just want to back up just a minute on that. I'm going to touch on that. But
Okay,
the
go ahead.
first thing you want to do, even before you check your credit, is you want to educate yourself, right? So that kind of goes with anything you're doing in
Of
life.
course, of course.
As you just said, you educated yourself about Rhode Island housing before I came on, right? So
Yeah.
you would have a little bit of background. It's the same thing with purchasing a house. First-time home buyer, this is going to be biggest purchase you ever made up until now in your life, right?
Absolutely.
So it's a big deal. So you want to
Your
educate
dwelling
yourself.
place.
Absolutely. So the first thing you do before anything else is go to Rhode
Okay.
and sign up for a home buyer education.
Very important, ladies and gentlemen.
This is the number one thing you should do. Very, very important. And
Look
you'll
in that
educate
camera and tell them
yourself.
there, Larry.
Go to Rhode and sign up for a home buyer education. It is free to the public. It is virtual. You can watch it right on the phone, right on your phone.
Yes, sir.
So you just go on, sign up, and watch the class. It's a 2-hour class. There's usually 3 people that conduct the class, and many of the points I'm going to discuss with you today briefly are expanded in that class.
Like you said, briefly.
Briefly, yes.
Because
So
and
the
you could talk for
education-
3 hours.
We could talk forever, you
Yeah,
and
we
I, and
could,
we
yeah.
have.
Yes, we have.
And so, yes, that's the first step that I would do.
Okay,
is-
number
is
2.
go on that.
Give me-
The number
give me
2
number
is
2.
what you had
Because
mentioned.
people are writing this stuff down.
Yes.
Because there are people who really want to know. It's so intimidating, first of all, Larry.
Absolutely.
As far as
If
trying to
you've
buy a
never done it
house.
before.
But that's why we have you on to simplify it.
Yes.
So point number 2.
And to reduce that intimidation factor is that education that I mentioned. Go on that class. But number 2 is what you mentioned first, pull your credit. So when Barack Obama was president, he passed a law that said everybody is allowed to get a copy of their credit report
Yeah.
for free once a year. So you want to go on annual credit report at the camera, annualcreditreport.com.
Trying to take my job, Larry.
I'm sorry. And pull your credit, right? You can pull any of the 3 credit bureaus, right?
Yeah,
There's
no.
TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. 3
Could you
credit
say those
bureaus.
3 again? That's important.
TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian.
Okay.
3
all
different
right.
credit bureaus.
Okay.
So you can pull each one once a year for free on that website, annualcreditreport.com. Don't get confused with free credit report because it's not free. It's
Okay.
annualcreditreport.com. So you can actually, every 4 months, pull a different one.
Every 4 months?
Yeah, well, I mean, once a year, you can pull each one for
Okay.
free. So if you pull one of them in every 4 months, then you get each one once a
You
year.
did say you were good at math, didn't
I
you?
am good at math.
Arithmetic.
Yes.
I always tell them, Larry, I might not know calculus and statistics. You can't cheat me out my money because I float like a butterfly and I sting like a bee.
There you
All right,
go.
that's number 2, Larry.
Yep.
We're having fun. I told you we'd
Yep,
have fun.
yep.
Give me number
So-
3, buddy.
So just to finish up on that thought, it's really identity theft.
Yeah.
We've all heard of that. So really important to pull your credit and make sure that everything on there is accurate, that no one's pulled up any credit in your name. There's no delinquency on there that you're not aware of. So
Okay.
that's what you want to do. The next thing you're going to do is once you've taken the class, you've learned a little bit about what it takes to buy a house, make sure your credit is where it needs to be. You're going to get, when you're ready to start looking for a home, you want to get pre-approved.
Be honest, Larry. When you talk to people, isn't it very, very intimidating when the people, I mean, they don't know.
Of course.
And what you don't know can hurt you.
Absolutely, in a big way,
Yeah.
financially.
Yeah,
And
that's what
especially
we're
with the prices of houses now have gone through the roof. It's ridiculous what's happened in the last couple of years.
Is it going to be boom, gone bust, though? Do you see that happening?
I don't. I
My
don't
mother
see that
told me
happening.
something a long time ago. She said, son, people are going to always need somewhere to what? Live.
Right. Well, the issue is it's supply and demand like anything else. There's a very low supply of houses on the market, and there's a huge demand of people
And we're
that want to buy them.
procreating even as we speak.
Yeah. And now with the unfortunate COVID situation we just went through, many people are working virtually. They're working
Correct.
from home.
Yeah.
So you can live in New York, or you can live in Connecticut, or you can live in Massachusetts. Excuse me, you could work at those 3 states, but live in Rhode Island because you don't have to commute. So you can make big money in New York or Massachusetts, up in Boston, and you can live in Rhode Island. And even though the prices in Rhode Island are very high, they're not as high as those places.
Well, that's the beauty of Zoom, is that right?
Beauty of Zoom.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So
Okay,
that's why there's
is
so
that-
much,
that's 3, okay. Go to number 4.
So you want to get pre-approved, okay?
Okay.
And you can do that. There's a couple of different ways. You can contact Rhode Island Housing, and we have loan officers that work directly in our building, and you can get pre-approved with one of those loan officers. We also have a list of participating lenders that also do
Oh,
Rhode
do you?
Island housing loans. Again, right on our
Okay.
website, there's probably, right now, there's probably 30 participating lenders, more than 30. And
Yeah.
so if you want to use one of those participating lenders, you could certainly use anyone you
See,
want.
I did that.
And get, yeah, and get,
Larry
the
and
same
Ernest are
products.
smiling. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching PEG RITV. You had to be there. Look at Larry's face. And we were there. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, we have Mr. Larry Feldman. He's with Rhode Island Housing. I know a lot of you aspire to buy a house, so this man is here to simplify it. And we're going over the step by step how you can actually make that become a reality. So without any further ado, Larry, step number 4.
All right, so when you go get a pre-approval, there's a couple of things you're gonna, that the loan officer that you meet with is gonna look at.
Right?
All right, we already talked about your credit.
Yes, we did.
So I am an underwriter, and what I do at Rhode Island Housing is I approve the loans,
Yes.
if they're approvable.
You're an underwriter, right?
I am an underwriter.
Can you please explain to the people what an underwriter is,
I
please?
can.
Include, Larry, you can do it all, okay?
I'm good at this. I've been doing it for 20 years.
Only 20 years,
Yes.
Larry, huh?
I also am one of the teachers on the home buyer education. So
Okay.
this is the old hat.
Tell
for
us
me.
what the underwriter is, Larry.
So what I'm going to be looking for is, so my job, I like to say, is very much common sense. Okay? And what I mean by that is, if you have a store charge, let's say you have a charge card at Walmart, Target, JCPenney, whatever. And let's say your balance is $300 and your minimum payment is $10 a month, and you're late making that $10 a month payment on a $300 credit card.
Yes.
Am I going to give you $250,000 loan if you're not paying your $10 a month on a $300 credit card? How am I going to feel about giving you a $250,000 loan, right?
I'm not going to feel warm and fuzzy
Right. If
inside
it's
at
your
all.
money, do you want to lend me $250,000 if I can't pay my credit card on time? Probably
We're not going to pay a lot for that muffler, Larry.
You know what I'm saying?
No, we're not.
So common sense, pay your bills on time.
Correct.
All right.
Can
Second-
you recap the 1, 2, 3, 4, just in case some people are just not tuning in?
Sure, sure. The first thing you want to do is educate yourself. And that goes for everything in life.
Of course.
So you're going to go to RhodeIslandHousing.com. You're going to sign up for home buyer education. It's free. It's virtual. You can watch it on your phone. It's a
Okay.
2-hour class. Second thing you do is check your credit. Annualcreditreport.com. Check your credit. Make sure everything on there is accurate.
Yes.
Third thing you do is get a pre-approval. Contact a loan officer either through Rhode Island Housing or one of our participating lenders. Sit down with them. They'll tell you what you qualify for.
Okay.
Then, but in order to qualify, you have to have good credit, as we just discussed. The other thing you have to have is a 2-year work history.
Oh, okay.
So as an underwriter, and you asked me to give you a little bit of idea of what I do, so as I said, it's really common sense. Does this person, can they afford it? Are they going to pay it back? Right? So I'm going to look at your credit, and then I'm going to look at your job history. Now, I use an analogy of the wizard in Wizard of Oz.
Yep.
I am always behind the curtain. You will never meet me, but I make the decisions on your loan.
Uh-oh.
So that's my
That sounds like
that's
Uncle
my
Sam.
job.
That sounds like Uncle Sam.
Exactly.
That's a scary thought, Larry.
So
You're not the boogeyman, are you?
No, no.
Okay.
But you know, I'm not going to sit with a prospective home buyer and they're going to be really nice people, and I want to give them a loan, right? I can't analyze.
You gotta be
It's
discretionary.
all black and white. So it's
Yeah.
all your credit, your job history, your income. I'm looking at your pay stubs, your W-2s, your tax returns, your bank statements, your credit report. I'm looking at all that stuff to make my decision, to make my
Right.
determination. It's not about whether I like you or not.
Well, that's right. And I did want to say something, and I told you that I'd say this for the camera, and just in truth. Rhode Island Housing, ladies and gentlemen, does not discriminate. If you're Jewish, if you're black, if you're white, they do not discriminate. It's all about whether or not you meet that criteria. So we
Correct.
got that in there.
Correct. And part of our mission statement is safe, affordable housing.
That's right.
And so I mentioned earlier that we are the state's housing agency. Well, the state of Rhode Island doesn't want anybody to lose their house. Number one, it hurts the people. Number two, it hurts the community.
Okay.
And the state doesn't want a bunch of empty houses that have been foreclosed on. They rely on us to give safe, affordable mortgages to folks that are going to be able to maintain that home and build vibrant communities. We don't offer mortgages to folks that are buying a house for investment. There's no investment mortgages. We don't do any somebody from out of town coming in and buying
Remember,
a
I
bunch
asked
of
you about that
houses.
too. Yeah.
Yes. It's only owner-occupied properties. It's only fixed rates, no adjustable rates. There's no surprises 5 years down the line where your mortgage goes up. It's always stable. Your taxes are going to go up, but your mortgage is not going to go up.
So, Larry, is it 100% financing?
We do have 100% financing. Rhode Island Housing often has...
Is that a special program?
Well, we often have innovative programs that come and go, so you have to check our website. But we always have 100% financing in the form of an extra assistance loan. So it's a second mortgage. So you get your first mortgage, then you get your second mortgage, which you can use for down payment and sometimes closing costs, depending on
Yeah.
the program that you're interested in. But we always have 100% financing, and often we have grant programs that are provided by the federal government, but we manage them. There's different programs that come out on a regular basis. So
Nice.
yeah, so you can check all that out on the website.
Speaking about managing, I'm going to manage this, like the way I did that. You are watching PEG, RITV, the Ernest Faison Show. I got my buddy, Mr. Larry Feldman, on. He's actually with Rhode Island Housing. And he told me that, and we're both aficionados with music, told me that Mr. Robert Cray is coming to the Orpheum June 12th.
Yes, in East Greenwich.
Yeah, that's where you and I, we met at the Park Theater.
We did. And
we
maybe
saw
we
Buddy
will
Guy.
Maybe we will go to this show as well.
Yeah, Buddy Guy, yeah. So we're talking about the business, but we're also giving the human element of it, as I told you we would.
Sure.
And it's a beautiful thing because now people are starting to get out more with the COVID thing.
Right.
You know, no matter what type of music you like, just be blessed and enjoy the music.
Yeah, things
I
seem
like
to be
gospel
opening
music.
up. I like all kinds of music. I'm
Me
just
too.
a big fan of the arts and live music. I like to be a supporter of folks that are out there trying to make a living.
That's why PBS.
Entertaining us.
PBS. I love the
Right.
PBS specials. Where Are They Now specials. You ever see those?
Sure.
I just watched one on the Beatles, George Harris. Did you see that one?
Yeah, I did not see it, but I imagine it was very good.
Yeah, it was. Eric Clapton and some of them others was on. You know, Clapton, I love Clapton.
I'm a big Clapton fan.
Yeah, excellent guitarist and everything like
Joe
that.
Bonamassa is on that pretty often.
He's on there. He's on there very much
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Very much so. So, Larry, you told us about the 4. We got number 5. There's 100% financing, special programs. So let's say you do get approved, and then the impact of home inspection.
Well, a home inspection is probably the most important thing I can tell you about. And because this is the biggest purchase you've ever made as a first-time home buyer,
Yes.
a home inspector is going to pretty much protect you. So you sign a purchase sale, you find the house that you want, you put a bid on it, they accept the bid, you sign a purchase and sales agreement. The agreement is binding, but it's based on a satisfactory home inspection. Okay, so you have about 2 weeks to get that home inspection.
Oh, do you?
You
2
do.
weeks.
You
Okay.
usually get 10 business days.
That's important that
Yep.
people know that too.
Yes, yes. So you're going to hopefully you're going to find a reputable realtor that's going to help you out through the process, okay? But a home inspector is very, very important, and you got a couple of weeks to go through it. Now, the most important thing is if the home inspector goes in there and finds a lot of things wrong with the house, maybe the electrical's not up to code, maybe there's lead paint or lead pipes, there's all kinds of things that could happen.
Asbestos, whatever.
All kinds of things, right? You have the opportunity to back out of the transaction, get your down payment back.
That's why I was going to ask you, are you penalized?
You are not.
You are
But
not
you do have to
penalized.
pay for the home inspection. You don't
Well, yeah,
get that
that's his
back.
time.
That's
or
his
hers time.
Correct. You don't get that back. But when you make an offer on a house, you have to give the seller an earnest money deposit
Yeah.
so that they do not sell the house to
So
someone else.
check this out. Point well taken. I'm glad you brought that up. That
Yes.
was excellent right there, what you just said. I'm a veteran. I do have something called a VA loan. That is very attractive to people like the Rhode Island Housing, is it not? Because it's almost like Ace and the Kitty.
It is. And most of the loans that, probably all the loans out there in the community are backed by some kind of insurance, whether it's the VA, FHA, Fannie Mae. You've
Fannie
heard
Mae.
all those.
Yeah, Fannie Mae, I have. I
Yes.
sure have.
So they're all backed by the federal government in one way or another. But the VA loan is fantastic for a veteran. It's
Absolutely.
100% financing with one loan, the
Correct.
VA. And you could get a VA loan pretty much through any bank or mortgage company. It doesn't even have to be Rhode Island Housing.
That's always been my ace in the hole
Yes,
there.
absolutely. It's probably the best program out there, and veterans deserve that. So thank
Well,
goodness it's there.
You know, like we say, freedom is not free.
Correct, correct.
so
And
you-
veterans have earned that right.
That's right. That's
Yes.
right. That's right. Okay, so we've spoke about the home inspection. So now we go into the closing. which is pretty important too.
It is.
And
So-
the points and all these things they talk about. Because that
Yes.
can range, can it, Larry? It gets
It
dicey.
can, depending on who you're going through.
Okay.
But it doesn't with Rhode Island housing. The
Okay,
fees
I like
are the
how you
fees.
took that back to Rhode Island now.
Yeah, so I can't speak for other mortgage companies or other institutions, but when you get a loan estimate or an LE from Rhode Island Housing at the beginning of the process, your fees are going to be the same.
What is
at
an
the end of the
LE for
process.
those who don't
It's
know?
a loan estimate, and it breaks down all the costs involved in purchasing the house.
Okay.
That is not going to change from the day you get it to the day you close, which is
Right.
probably about 60 days.
And people got to be smart enough, as we call it, critical thinking.
Critical thinking.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
I had to throw that in there.
I appreciate that. Yeah,
Larry's smiling. He loves
changed.
that.
A lot of things changed back in, I think it was probably '08 when we had a real problem with the economy and the banks collapsed. You remember all that,
Of
right? There was
course.
big financial,
Depco or something?
Big financial
Is
institutions.
that Malacone? That's
I
something.
think that was the credit union
Okay,
situation in
okay.
Rhode Island. This is there was all kinds of exotic mortgages out there. There was adjustable rate mortgages, all kinds of things out there, and people were getting in trouble financially,
Yeah.
and there was a ton of foreclosures. Anyway, a lot of regulation came in to the
Okay.
industry at that when everything collapsed and we went into a recession.
Right.
There was a lot of laws passed. I think Obama was president at the time, and the laws keep a lot of that from happening now. So mortgage companies and banks are required by law to disclose all the fees
Nice.
and the adjustable rate mortgages and things of that
This
sort.
is so important. Larry, I mean, when you told me where you work, remember, my eyes lit up. I said, man, there are so many people.
And we'd known each other for years already, and we never talked
But
about
there's
it.
so many people out here who have the means to do it, but just don't have maybe, like you said, the tools to understand.
Sure.
And that's why it's so important. And you're going to be a code hero when you go back to work tomorrow, Larry, because you're disseminating all this wonderful information that somebody under the sound of my voice or voices will be able to buy houses, man. And then you told me about the $25,000. How does that come into play?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, there are some special programs periodically that come out, and there's a bucket of funds, if you will, that is provided to us by maybe the federal government. Different places might be providing these funds.
Okay.
And this is a first gen grant, the $25,000.
What is it called again?
It's called First Gen.
First
and
Gen.
Basically, and it's a short program. There's only a certain amount of money. I think there's $1 million allocated to it, but that's only 40 loans, if you think about it. Okay, so it's a very short program.
Getting good.
Yes, and so folks that are just starting out that hear our voices right now, they probably wouldn't get into that program because it will be gone by the time they get that far. But there's
you
always new
re-up, though?
programs.
Do you
There's
re-up?
always new programs coming out.
Okay.
That one could extend.
And-
That's beyond my
And you can tell them what your website again is?
RhodeIslandHousing.com.
Wow, Larry, you do that well. Critical thinker. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching PEG RITV, the Ernest Facing Show. I float like a butterfly and I sting like a bee. I got my buddy on here, Rhode Island Housing, Mr. Larry Feldman. He's telling you, ladies and gentlemen, how to buy a house. He's giving you all the bullet points. And that's why I'm so glad he's on, because I know some of you got a pad and a paper and are writing this down and probably going to be giving this man's office a call. So that is a beautiful thing.
Yes.
Larry, I really appreciate you being on here. And one of my mentors, Mr. George Lima, who was a Tuskegee Airman, God rest his soul. He fought Joe Louis, played football with Mercer Ellington, but he was also a politician. I'll look right into that camera. And this goes a perfect segue with you. He, African-American, passed the Fair Housing Act so that people, ladies and gentlemen, please hear what I'm trying to tell you. People who look like me or Native American, nothing against Larry or whoever, but that they get a fair shake and that they can live anywhere in the United States as well as in Rhode Island, but more so, in Rhode Island.
Yes, sir.
So the Fair Housing Act, so that
Yes.
coincides with everything that you're saying.
Very much so. That is a big part of our mission. It doesn't matter what race, nationality, sexual
right.
orientation. It
Wanted
does
to
not
make
matter.
that clear. And you guys also got another wonderful program called RentReliefRI.com.
We do.
Yep, if COVID has knocked you down and you're down on your luck, you can go to rentreliefri.com.
Correct.
And that is a beautiful thing. So Larry, I think we pretty much hit the meat and potatoes.
I think we did.
Now Larry, let me ask you, buddy, why would you pick off the record now? Because we handled the business. Yes, we did.
Okay.
And I always handle the business before we get there.
Sure.
Why would the Pittsburgh Steelers, Larry, go get Mitchell Trubisky? You go from Ben Roethlisberger.
If you go back to Mitchell's time in Chicago, where he didn't have a great support system. He didn't have great coaching at the time, and I apologize for Chicago fans if I offend them.
No, it is what it is.
He didn't have Mike Tomlin. He didn't have Najee Harris. He didn't have Chase Claypool.
Okay, let me move forward. Your thoughts on Tom Brady retiring, then 40 days later coming back.
Yeah.
And you sent a wonderful text about that. This is a family show, so
we're not going to talk about
we won't talk about that. Larry, your kids, I'm making you a code hero. You're going to be a hero. We will not get into that text.
No,
please. But yeah, he shouldn't have come back, my thought. Your thought?
I'm not a Tom Brady fan,
Well,
so I was happy when he retired.
Yeah, because he
He's tortured
denied
the
you so
Pittsburgh
many
Steelers.
times from getting the Super Bowl.
That's
I
right.
know that.
Yes.
The Cowboys, I just say real quick that Jerry Jones can't get out of his own way. I'm not quite sure what that is, but we will see. We know that June 12th, we got who?
Robert Cray.
Robert Cray coming on. Not only that, man, I told you we have fun with this thing. Is there anything else? I got about 30 seconds that you want to look in that camera real quick.
Sure.
Go ahead.
So I talked about what I do at Rhode Island Housing, and just for the folks out there to know, Rhode Island Housing handles many other things other than first-time home buyer mortgages, which is what I do. There are many departments. We help out with the homeless. We help out with the Section 8. We're the state's housing agency, and there's a lot involved.
Very good, very good. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been fun, but I've got to run. Let it be known, if we don't see each other again, this party was well made. That's uncommon valor. I got my paisan, my friend, Rhode Island Housing, Mr. Larry Feldman here. That man's so bad, he make medicine sick. Take care of yourself. God bless you. Until the next time, we out.
Thank you so much for having me.
Excellent, excellent. That's how we do it, brother.
Very good.
That's how we do it. Nice and easy peasy.
Bling, 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 bling. See the Rastaman do his thing. You see that bling, 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 bling. Hey, laddie man. Some people have to hold a diamond ring. Driving around with spinning rims. Walking down the street in fine.